There are no winners in a price war, only survivors. Hey guys, Samantha McLean from Elite Agent, and we are back at NAR with some day 2 highlights. It was another big day of keynotes and learning by some of our favourite speakers, guys like Brian Buffini and David Knox, who've both been to Australia and spoken a number of times at ARIC, as well as some of the franchise conferences, so we know them well. Today I want to give you a tip that was inspired by listening to David Knox yesterday, who spoke about the tricky subject of protecting your fee. And I loved one of the things he said, which is market share is for kids, profit is for grown-ups. Meaning that if you're going to keep going after every piece of business, even the ones that continually ask you to drop your fees, it may impact your overall margin and you may have been better off letting them go. So speaking of dropping fees, Purple Bricks, as some of you know, have recently made an appearance here in the US for the first time. In fact, I think they're down there in the expo. I haven't seen them myself. And they've got their commisery ads on high rotation, one of them including some guy in a pool with a butt wedgie, and I kind of want to say, what the...
Save yourself from commisery at purplebricks.com.
But they're saying all the same stuff that they have been back home in Australia, and the realtors here are feeling pretty much the same as you guys, feeling as though this type of model is encouraging a race to the bottom in pricing and service. And we all know that there are no winners in a price war, only survivors. But back to the pressure on fees, which seems to be a question universally, and particularly in this type market and the one at home. Just before we left Australia, we had quite a robust conversation at Tara Bradbury's annual roundtable about fees. So we're not just talking about sales, but property management as well. Every consumer, it seems, wants to negotiate these days, but I actually think that the company that more or less defined disruption, Uber, has a pricing model with a reasonable parallel, not just in real estate, but in every industry, whether you happen to be a photographer, a marketing agency, a telecommunications company, or something else. And it is to do with the service that you provide, but also to do with what the customer values. Let me explain. Here in Boston, like in Australia, Uber has taken a fair share of the taxi market, although it may have claimed a bit more market share here because of the high concentration of uni students here. We have Harvard, MIT, Boston Dynamics, and a long list of other schools and institutions in the area. So uni students are always going to go, usually for the cheapest option, let's call it Uber Pool or Uber X. When I personally look at my Uber options, I sometimes think about how quickly I want to get somewhere. And because I travel over the Harbour Bridge a fair bit, if I'm in a hurry, I'm going to choose Uber Select or Uber Black or even Uber Taxi, because I know that they're going to carry a number plate which will get me to the taxi lane on the bridge and off to my destination in a lot quicker time. Do I value that? Yes, I do. Would I pay more for that? Yes, that's a big affirmative as well. Is there any point in trying to sell me an Uber Pool? Probably not. Have a think about your customers. Are they Uber X kind of people, or are they Uber Black? Are they from Planet Story, or are they from Planet Price? A big part of David's presentation yesterday was about selling your customers on the value that you provide to protect your fee, but it's also true that different people value different things. What I value is different to what a uni student might value in an Uber, and likely in a real estate transaction. These days, customers like you and me, we are weighing up the costs and benefits to us of every buying decision we make against alternatives, substitutes, and other service providers. Are you ever going to sell an Uber Black to an Uber Pool, both of whom understand what they are paying for and the value that they are being provided by Uber? While there are some great scripts by David yesterday, I think this is something you need to fundamentally understand about your customer, what they value, what they see as risks. With the current trend towards personalisation, be able to tailor a solution to that customer based on their personal needs. This is not about dropping your fee, it's about being clear on your market, which, by the way, is something we will be talking about in Transform Digital starting in a couple of weeks' time. So who are you talking to right now? Are they in Uber X? Are they in Uber Black? Or are they somewhere in the middle? If you do one thing after listening to this tip, I hope you have a think about the answer to that question, write it down, and figure out how to provide the next person you talk to the Uber experience that they both value and expect. Because like the great David Knox says, the first step in protecting your fee is to work with better clients. All right, so that's it from us here at NAR on day 2. Behind me is going to be the scene of a super rock concert tonight. Fall Out Boy are going to be in the auditorium, and we need to beat it now because there'll be millions of real estate agents up here in anticipation of that. Hope that tip was useful to you, and we will see you soon.